Okay, so I'm going to wait for him to get on, but I just wanted to let you guys know Tiffany and I can't be, I'm kind of sad. It's like I'm missing the peanut butter or the peanut butter to jelly or the flip to the shift. So I say bacon and eggs, but I'm missing Tiffany today. She's on here, you guys. So just give a big high five or hi to Tiffany. Hey, Mark, I'm going to pull you in. She's on here, guys. Hold on. Let me see if I can get you on. Hopefully I can. Okay, did it pop up, Mark? Send a request. You got to send me a request because I'm not finding it here. Wonder if I'm having a lag here. So it should pop up, send a request. So you'd have to send me a request because I can't seem to find. Oh, hold on. Oh, it's lagging. Ah. Okay. Hold on. Oh, you came off. Yeah, if Mark pops back on. Oop. Okay, let's see what we got going here, guys. Sorry. So I'm waiting for Mark, guys. Real quick, Tiffany can't come on the IG with us today. Hey, Mark.
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me all right? Yeah, can you hear me? No?
It's lagging. Hold on. I'm waiting to hear the connection a little bit better.
All right. Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2. I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
1, 2. Can you hear me?
Tiffany's saying it's okay. All right, cool.
Okay, good. I tried to.
1, 2. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfect.
Check.
Yeah.
Okay. You tried what?
Tiffany? Oh, I tried to log on through the laptop. I guess you can't. Can you do Instagram Live on the laptop?
I don't think so. I've never tried it. I usually do it through my phone or on my iPad, but okay. So Tiffany's saying this. So Tiffany had really, really bad weather last night, Mark, like insanely bad. Weather damage and everything at her house. Yeah. And so it went north of us and around us, but there was hail damage and everything everywhere. And then this morning, I know, I think Tiffany pushed the weather back because our house sounds like it's shaking, There's so much wind. So if we have a connection problem, we can always hop off and then hop back on and try it again. Okay. So all right. Just want to give you that heads up.
I hope Tiffany's okay.
I hope she is. I talked to her this morning, so she's good. But I'm sad that she's not on here. She's going to be on the feed, though, and she's going to. So a lot of our, and I wanted to explain this real quick. A lot of our viewers are format, but we're going to have a lot of new people on here. So the way that our format works for our lives, I'm going to give just a quick announcement, or kind of a recap or an announcement that I need to make for the flip and shift. And then I'm going to introduce you formally, and then we're going to open it up for some discussion. And then a lot of our viewers know that at the end, there's about a 20-minute Q&A time. So I usually encourage a lot of people to save up their questions towards the end. But I know you're going to be giving a lot of really good stuff. And a lot of people are like, oh, I need to ask a question right now. It's totally understandable. So Tiffany's on the silent side in the feed, and she's keeping track of questions. And she's also keeping track of time, because I know that you and I can talk. So, okay. So real quick, before I formally introduce you, I have to make a quick announcement. For those of you guys that are expecting a live for the flip and shift tomorrow, so usually we do our Friday 9 a.m. Central Standard Time lives, and we talk about a topic. Now, last week we said that we were going to start the shift work. Well, Tiffany and I kind of went back and forth and decided we're going to take a hot step back from that right now, because there's a lot of people that are either getting into the flipping process and they're starting to decide on who they want to work with on the reprogramming end. And this is going to be a great opportunity over the next April, May into June to meet some of those practitioners like Mark. So I'm going to introduce Mark, and he's a practitioner. But you'll get a chance to meet them. They can answer your questions live each week. And we have a nice schedule laid out for April, and you guys can find that on our Instagram and our Facebook page. And also for those of you guys that are starting this process, right? We talked a lot about all of the videos that we have available, because we've been doing our lives and taking everybody through the process up until this point, and we kind of are wrapping up the flipping piece, and we're starting to bring on these practitioners to talk about the reprogramming piece. So if you want, go way back, go to our YouTube channel, and you can follow everything in order. Tiffany laid out everything in order, our first live, all the way up till the most recent one. And also too, when you get stuck and you're needing like charts or brain map charts, we have an Instagram page as well as a Facebook page where we post most every chart or technique that we have been giving you guys over the last, I don't know how many weeks we've been doing this. So we just want to get everybody up to speed. And for those of you guys that are just starting, kind of get you guys going, right? And for those of you guys that were just in our workshop last weekend, which thank you so much for signing up. And I thought the workshop was awesome. It was an eye-opener. And also I want to say thank you guys for all the feedback. And we're also hearing that you guys want more workshops for the flipping process. So Tiffany and I are going to take this time while, you know, we're kind of getting ready for the shift work to start. We're going to start putting together more workshops, all right, to take you through the flipping process, get you really excited about working with a practitioner for the reprogramming piece. Okay, so you're not going to see us on these lives until probably mid-May, closer towards the end of May. So no more Friday lives up until the end or the middle to the end of May, but we'll let you guys know way well in advance when we're going to be revving back up again, okay? But so anyway, with all that being said, I want to formally introduce Mark. As you guys can see, I think he's on the bottom. Hey, Mark.
Hey.
I'm so excited. Yay. You guys, this is Mark Shihadeh, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
That's good, yeah.
It. All right, cool.
That's good. Yeah.
Yay. I'm so glad Mark's going to be on. He's our first live expert. He's a level 4, and I want to make sure I have this correctly, a FasterEFT practitioner. And,
that's right.
Yes. And we're going to dive into that a little bit more. What is that? And we're going to talk a little bit about tapping and beyond the tap. We refer to it as the reprogramming piece, but Mark's going to give you his definition of it. You can find Mark. Now, I said this in our workshops. I strongly encourage you guys that if you're already there in the reprogramming piece, right, you're ready to go. You've got all of your rooted traumas, you've got all your limiting beliefs laid out, and you're like psyched and ready to work with a practitioner. All right, here's what you need to do. You need to tap in, go into Mark's podcast. All right, he has a Tap It Out podcast, and you can find it. I have it downloaded through Apple, so it's through Apple Podcast, Podbean, and Spotify. Are there any other platforms?
I mean, mostly anywhere you can listen to a podcast.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you guys, so he does, and Mark's going to speak on this, but what I thought was really powerful, and it really got me excited to make another practitioner appointment and get moving, to deal with some other things that I'm dealing with, and hopefully work with Mark, is to listen to some of his client sessions. He does live client sessions on there, you guys, and it's amazing to listen to how he goes through the process with the client on his podcast. So I strongly recommend you guys get on his podcast. I've got it downloaded into my library and I listen to it. So and
disclaimer, I haven't done a live session in a while. So the ones that are on there, I think they're like over a year, 2 years old. So it's even better.
An idea of what to expect.
Gives people an idea. Absolutely. And you can see transformation. So the pretty cool, the ones that I have on there is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you guys, check out his podcast. Again, it's called the Tap It Out. It's Tap It Out, right?
Tap It Out podcast.
Yep, with Mark Shihadeh. And we're going to post how to spell his last name. That way you guys know how to spell it, all right? And then another way you can get in contact with him is through Facebook. He has a Facebook page. It's called Tap It Out, FasterEFT Tapping, and Law of Attraction. So,
so it's a group, and you just you just search Tap It Out and it's a Facebook group. Yeah.
Okay. We'll
Tap it out.
Miranda will definitely put a link out there for you guys to connect to him. Okay. So reach out to him, and then you have a website, right?
Yeah, I do. markwshihadeh.com. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. That's easy. That's easy to remember.
That's easy. Yeah.
All right. All right. So let's get started, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and let Mark have the platform here. We want to hear about you, Mark. We want to know a little bit about you on a personal level. So kind of where are you from? Just give us some ideas of where you're from, where you grew up at, that kind of stuff. So
all right. I feel good not being in my pajamas. Like, how does this look with just a nice shirt, collared shirt, and
Well, you don't want to see what's down below. I have golf pants on, so I'm in pajamas.
Yeah, I put my jeans on just in case I had to get up. But
Smart.
yeah, this is a nice time, isn't it? A very interesting time.
Yeah.
That's why tapping's great for this time.
Yes,
So I'm from San Francisco, and a little bit about me. So and right now I live in San Bruno, which is very close to San Francisco. Born and raised in San Francisco, and I just been someone who has always been into self-empowerment. And, I used to, I came from a family of worriers, and I used to worry when I was a little kid. And I just remember like social anxiety. Like, I used to go into groups of people, maybe I'd go to a party, and then I'd go home and I would think about it. And I would like, did I say this? And did I hurt anyone's feelings? Maybe I shouldn't have said this, and just kind of overanalyze, overthink. I've been an overthinker from my past. And so I wanted to learn how to not do that. So I've been a seeker and studier of self-empowerment and just empowerment for people. Yeah. And it's just been my passion, right? So I've been, I just read any self-help book back in the day, years ago, and Anthony Robbins and Deepak Chopra and Abraham Hicks. Yeah. Yep. And then Abraham Hicks' Law of Attraction, which at first I thought this is, over 35 years ago when I discovered them, and I thought it was kind of weird, but I thought the information was amazing. So I love this information of the Law of Attraction. And, Law of Attraction, people say that, and it has so many different levels. And I'm into high level Law of Attraction, the nuance of how to make it work in your life, So then I've been studying and mastering the Law of Attraction for all those years. And then since then, I've been looking for, back in the day before I found FasterEFT, it's about removing blocks to what we want. So that's what I was searching for. And I've tried different things, how to remove blocks and different ways. And I found EFT, which is tapping. We'll go over that. And then I wanted something faster, and I found FasterEFT, which is created by Robert Smith.
So you did kind of EFT first, right? Is that
a little bit?
Okay.
And I said, it's all right, it's good, but I wanted something faster. And then, when I found Robert's stuff, I was just blown away. And so to me, it's the next level, and it encompasses EFT and a lot of other things. Also, Law of Attraction is at the foundation of the belief system behind and underneath FasterEFT.
So let me understand this. Okay, so when you were more of a kid, which is so you kind of were more of an introvert, right? Is that what you want to label your? Okay. See, so for me, I was more of an extrovert, and then flipped to the introvert side when I was dealing with chronic illness. But so you went from the introvert, you went from the introvert way of being, right, basically, to then learning that that's not the way you want it, because you were dealing with some backlash from it. So some like stress, social anxiety. Okay. Yeah,
and when I would tell people I'm an introvert, people know, I seem like an extrovert in lots of ways. And in my life, throughout my life, I'd go up and down. Like I'm a very social guy, and I love to be around people, and I love to connect with people. But to rejuvenate myself, I need to be alone. And I used to, and then the times when I was very introverted, you're right, I had a backlash. I isolated myself. I kind of hid behind, I used to be a music producer, and I would kind of hide behind the computer. I used to be a programmer too.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. And so,
music is so outwardly, that's an outward expression. So,
music, the artist is the outward expression. The producer is the kind of little genius who's like, not the genius nerd who's like doing the music and kind of
the
behind the scenes.
Puppet master, right?
Well, behind the scenes, working on the music, yeah, and not wanting to be out front in front of people. So FasterEFT and Robert has helped me throughout the years feel more comfortable about being in front of the camera, being in front of people. And now I would say I'm extrovert mostly.
Oh, I think so.
I mean,
yeah.
okay. I mean, not like you.
No,
but
no, absolutely. You're like, I mean, I was so out there, you know, and then I never had the shut off switch, and I never knew what that was. I was constantly having to be around people. I didn't know how to self-soothe myself and back away and be somewhat of an introvert. So, and probably underlining a lot of social anxiety that I really didn't recognize, to be honest. So when the chronic illness hit, it was a nice excuse for me to just say, nope, not anymore. I'm not on anymore. So there's a lot of flips to that.
Isn't that funny how your body and life will force you to do what you need to do when you're ignoring the signs, your body will make you listen and slow down or whatever you need to do. Yeah.
Yes. And that's very relatable for a lot of people that follow us. They're dealing with chronic illness. They like to shy away. They like to hide, they have to have my body hurts. I have a headache. I did all of that. And so they have a tendency to withdraw themselves. Right. And there's also kids that are on here that, parents that are following us that have children just like that. So it's very relatable to your story because, some children have horrific social anxiety when they're younger. Scary movies. I can remember being slightly traumatized by scary movies, and it would still kind of haunt me throughout the years, Me
too,
You don't realize that. So now, okay, so when you became a music producer, right? So you're a music producer, and then what made you kind of shift to like computer? Did you just like make the shift that way?
Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, that's a long story, but I used to have a recording studio back. I was into music my whole life. I still love music. And then I had a recording studio back in the day. And then I'm like, okay. And I thought I was going to do music for the rest of my whole life. Like I'm never going to get a 9-to-5. And then I had my recording studio for about 6 years. And then I'm like, okay, I need to do something different. So I shut it down and I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And I was kind of lost at that time. I kind of had like my dark night of the soul time. And so I was doing temp jobs and trying to make a living. And so then I finally, after 2 years of that, I got into programming, and I did that for 6 years, and I loved it too. I loved the computer programming, and I worked for a good company, did well, and used the law of attraction to kind of attract that. So it's a whole story of that 2 years of dark night of the soul, how I got out of it.
Okay.
And that's on my podcast.
Next week, Mark. That'll be good
next
for
week.
Next week.
All right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I left that job and I went back to working for myself, and I created a beat site with instrumentals for music, and I combined I did the website and the music. So that was a long time ago too. So that's how I'm kind of going. And then I'm like, working on music, I was always kind of tough on myself. Like, people, when they work on music, it's fun and they love it. And I was kind of hard on myself. So I would kind of spend 2 weeks on one instrumental and, anyway, it feels good to be kind of out of it, but still love music. And maybe I'll get back into it one of these days.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
An inner child project, right? Just something to lift your soul, right? Do you still do that? Like do a lot with music still on the side?
I don't, but I will in the future. Maybe more collaboration, because I try to be Prince. Like I try to do everything myself, and that's another way of like trying to control things and isolating myself. So,
but you know what? I have to point this out to you. You were on the back side of music, right? Doing all the production work, and now you're on these podcasts. You're kind of out there. You're putting yourself out there.
It feels good. It feels good to do it. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I did.
Very cool. Yeah, I love hearing from practitioners their backstory and how they segued into or how they found this work. So you kind of segued into it, right? Did you you were studying law of attraction, and then you found Robert, and then you started kind of taking a deep dive in it, correct?
Yeah, I've always been a solopreneur. I've always tried different things with social media and things like that, and I've always wanted to work for myself. So yeah, the idea, and I was a practitioner maybe 6 years ago, but I was a law of attraction practitioner, and I was kind of, yeah, and I was kind of in the closet with my real name, and that's another story. Wow. But
we got a lot more podcasts.
Yeah.
We got a lot more conversations we can do.
Right.
More
yeah.
live.
So the idea of being a practitioner and helping people who want to, who want the help, I love that idea because I'm doing it for myself, and all these tools I do for myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's kind of get into what is tapping, and if you may, because a lot of our viewers know about tapping, and we talk about it as it's almost like a defront, but we also tell people there's beyond. I say it's beyond the tap, but what do you refer to it as?
Okay, so what I'll do first, I'll have everyone just kind of do a demonstration of what FasterEFT tapping is, because FasterEFT, the tapping points are different than EFT, and there's the whole philosophy behind it and the belief system behind it is different. Slightly different. So tapping, everyone take 2 fingers, tap between the eyebrows.
Okay.
Side of the eye, under the eye, half an inch under your collarbone.
Okay.
Between the eyebrows, side of the eye, under the eye, half an inch under your collarbone. You can use 2 hands if you want. Doesn't matter what side of your face you are on, and it doesn't matter if you hit the points or you miss them. You can tap up here.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm kind of perfectionistic.
It doesn't matter.
Matter. Okay.
And you don't. And this work that we do, and I'll explain it, is you can do it without tapping. So.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
So the idea, right? So the idea with the tapping is you're hitting meridian points. And these meridian points are connected to organs. And the idea with EFT is if you hit the meridian points, you're releasing negative energy stored in your organs, among other things. And so it's acupressure without the needles, right? Acupuncture without the needles. Right. But what Robert discovered, and because he's really studied the brain and different other modalities, and also hypnosis and NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, to really figure out how is this working and how does it work in your brain. So here's how it, and I'm trying to find a fast way to explain this.
Oh, you've got plenty of time.
Okay. So the idea is this. The idea is that the neuroscientists know that emotions or memories that are fired together or that are neurons that are fired together are wired together. So let's say I was a little kid, 12 years old, and I had a girlfriend and she broke up with me. So then I had heartache. So I think of, and I'm simplifying this now, but I think of women, girls, and then heartache, that hurt, the being alone, the loneliness, that the neurons that equal that are linked to girls, and then in my brain they're all wired together. So I associate girls with pain, like subconsciously. And so then what happens is I have another girlfriend and maybe she breaks my heart. So then 20 years later, I can't have a relationship, right? Because I sabotage myself. I don't want to be close to a girl. I might start a relationship and then I'm getting close to her and then I might do something to sabotage it. That's all subconscious work, right? Wow. Because it's keeping me safe, because inside my brain, my subconscious is thinking danger, like you're going to get hurt. Now this is again subconscious.
Protective.
I want protective, right? So that's the same thing. If I'm in a car accident, and the neurons in my brain are linked with cars and hurt. Like I'm in a car accident and the glass is breaking around me and I hear different things, and then that is all wired together, and then I'm afraid to get in a car. Right.
That is a good one. Sorry, Mark, I just wanted to interject, but that's a good example, because I know of a lot of people that have been in really bad car accidents, and they have such difficulty either riding with somebody, because maybe back in the day somebody was driving. So in the entire car ride, I can speak of one example. The entire car ride, that person is just insanely intense. So the brake lights, she said, the brake lights trigger me and I immediately just get tensed up. So is that kind of the same thing?
It's exactly that. It's exactly that. Okay. So now this works with with weight loss. It works with pain in your body. You know, you're talking about chronic illness. And these are all based off of past hurts that we've had in the past. And our body has a way of, you know, dealing with that. If we're not really dealing with it, if it's repressed, then our body has a way of telling us and getting our attention and reflecting what's going on inside of us.
Wow.
Right? So our body listens. Yeah, our body listens to our mind and our body. I mean, our body listens to what's going on, our mind and our brain. So, so with FasterEFT, what we do is we do the opposite of those links. We break those links, those harmful links, and we create better ones and nice ones, because we know that we attract from what we hold inside. If I'm holding danger inside of me with women or girls, then I'm just going to attract maybe unhealthy relationships, or again, sabotage myself. That's just, we attract from what we hold inside. And so what we do is we change what we hold inside to something that we would rather have. So here's how it works. I'll just kind of give you a quick demo or explanation. So if I had someone who came to me and they were in that car crash, that car accident, and then they're like your friend who, you know, gets triggered by car lights or whatnot. What we would do with FasterEFT, we'd go to the original memory, or there might be different memories that combine to create the current problem. Another idea of FasterEFT is our current problems are based off of our past experiences and memories. So we're actually changing memories. So what we would do, so, and like you said, reprogramming. So what we would do is, if I had a client, I would say, go to that original car accident and see what you saw, and feel what you felt, and hear what you heard. And they would go into the, let's say, quote unquote, trauma of that. And their body will respond, and the neurons will all be lit up and wired up, and they're there, and they can like sweat, and they can feel that fear right now.
Because you're putting them back into that basic simulation of what they were in before, right?
Right.
Or, like the experience that they had. Okay, I got it.
We put them right there. Now that's might sound scary for people, but we put them right there, and take them right out. And so what we do, and here's getting to the idea of how this tapping works, is if they get into the car accident and they're in that trance. So Robert Smith also studied hypnosis and trance work. The idea is if you leave this current memory and you go into that car accident 12 years ago, you're in a trance. You're not in this current memory. You're in that memory. And actually, and also that memory that might feel real, it's not real because you're right here. You're just in there. And the way you put it together is based off of, you know, how you encoded all of that, everything that happened. Right? So if you're in that same car accident, you would encode it differently. It might not be traumatizing to you, but it might be traumatizing to my other client. It's how we encode it and put it together. So it feels real, but it's all relative to the person. It's subjective. It's perception. Okay. So that's an interesting idea, that memory is perception, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So we say, well, it really happened. Well, it's how did you perceive it? How are you putting it together, and how are you responding to it? So what we do, if they go into the trance of that, and then I tap and I say, tap with me now, and just repeat after me, and I'll say certain things, but simply I'll say, let it go, whatever you're seeing, whatever you're feeling, different things, let it go. And then what you do is you grab your wrist, top and bottom of your wrist, take a deep breath, blow it out, and say peace.
Peace. Okay.
Peace. Okay. And then you go into a happy memory and have the client go into a happy memory.
Does that just release that emotional charge, or when you do that?
Okay. So what we're doing, that's a very good question. So the first thing is when we tap, if the client is in that car accident and then they tap, they go from that memory to the current time. So so we break in that trance. We come in, and they're kind of broken into the current time right now. And when that happens and we tap, we're relaxing. The tapping is a relaxing process for the neurons.
Okay. That makes sense.
What it does is it softens all those neurons that were linked up and lit up and fired and wired. It kind of softens those because we tap and we say, let it go, let it go, let it go. It interrupts that. And then we have them go to a happy memory. So when they go to the happy memory, something that feels good, then they're not in a car accident. They go over here to a happy memory, let's say, and they're at the beach and they hear the water and the sun on their face and they feel relaxed. That good feeling starts to be part of the car accident memory.
Yeah, I see that.
Right, because another idea of FasterEFT is memories are up, and this is not only FasterEFT, this is neuroscience. Memories are updated every time you visit it.
Oh, really?
So that's huge. Memories are updated every time you visit it.
So, is that, so they're updated based on where you're at in your life? So let's say if you
based on what your intention, right, in the moment and what you're thinking and feeling at the time.
Okay. Do you ever find, because I know I was on the struggle bus with this. So when I'd go back to a past trauma or a memory, I would have trouble with justifying things. Is that because, so something when I was 8 years old, right, that was traumatized by, and then I go back and I'm trying to revisit it, my rational thinking mind is, she was just being silly. I mean, I know now that wasn't what was happening. Do you have to get yourself in an 8-year-old mind, or try to at least?
So when you said she was being silly, were you talking about yourself or the person who?
Yes.
Oh, you were just being. Oh, I see what you're saying. So you rationalize yourself out of whatever you were feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We do. So
stop dealing with that. Like
there's a lot of see by you doing that. That's a way of you keeping yourself safe, because maybe. Well, there's different things and there's different reasons why you're doing that. But the fact that you rationalize that might be also patterns and belief systems that you've created as well to maybe you're not worthy of feeling better of this, right. And maybe you would, and maybe it's not your, it's your fault. So you've learned that things are your fault, maybe. Yes, I don't know. Yes. So yeah.
I mean, I'm working on some of those things currently. So I'm still taking those deep dives, Right. It's never ending. It really is never ending.
Well, with the big stuff, it's good to get together with a practitioner, and we know. So what would happen is when you go there, like to that 8-year-old memory, your subconscious will give us what you're ready for it to work with, and we'll work with what your subconscious gives us, and we will. Let's say heal is not the best word, but we will heal and work on, operate on what's going on now. And then it's like an onion, you're peeling the layers of an onion. And then when you heal certain aspects of it, your subconscious might say, okay, she might be ready to maybe see more or understand more or remember more of what happened.
So you don't really force the process, right? Is that what you're saying?
Never force.
Okay. That's good to know. Yes. Because it can be very overwhelming for people making those appointments and then taking those deep dives, right? So, a lot of times people are perfectionistic type people out there. They want to do the process right. And you're saying there's really you're allowing your subconscious to unveil itself. So don't force it, right? Is that what you're saying? Don't force it. Yeah. Don't force it. Okay.
Don't force it.
All right, cool.
Right. So now, so that's kind of a quick explanation of how the tapping works, right? But now here's an explanation of how you can do it without tapping.
Okay.
So if you're in the car accident and then I make a silly joke and you laugh, and so you're in the car accident and then you hear the joke and your mind goes somewhere else and you're laughing, that humor and that lightness of the joke and that kind of almost a surprise out of that trance is added to that memory. So what we do is this. If the car accident, we say, well, how much is it bothering you now when you're really into it? And she might say 10. And then we tap, or we, like you called it before, we call it a defrac. Any way to get them out of that trance or where they are, like a joke. And so when they go into the joke, then they're out of it. And then we say, okay, check back in. And it might be a 7 now, because we're softening the neurons, we're rewiring, we're changing the connections, and they're not as wired together as strongly. They're loosening.
So you're basically cutting down on that emotional charge, right? You're kind of softening.
Absolutely.
Okay. Very cool.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very cool.
And not only that, we keep doing that in and out. So the process is in and out, into the car accident and then out by tapping, by a joke, by we have something called a crazy tap. You can get up and do, jumping jacks. You can listen to YouTube of babies laughing for 5 seconds, anything to get you out of it and feel good and to get you back into it. If you do that in and out, you're going to say, oh, I was in a car accident and I know it happened, but I can't let it bother me anymore. It's a 0. Wow. It's a 0. Okay. I can't do it. And then what we do is once it's a 0, we say, well, what would you prefer to happen? And we have them rewrite the experience. So maybe if they were on their way to the pizza place, they never had that car accident. And what cars represent is adventure or going to do something fun. And so we'd have them imagine that and make new connections with being in a car. Cars equal adventure and fun. And then we have them practice that. So that's kind of the idea of,
that just makes sense. I mean, that's a really good explanation.
It's how it works in the brain. It's not woo-woo. It may feel weird woo-woo because tapping, what the heck is that? But it does make sense the way Robert studied it and taught us.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the example was perfect. That was perfect.
Thank you.
Because that's so relatable. Now, I have a question for you. So we have some people. Okay, so this is the other thing. For some people, they have some significant traumas, all right?
Right.
And so much that I know of several that have severe PTSD, and the thought of going back and reliving those moments is absolutely terrifying. Now, is there anything you can do about that?
Absolutely. So again, with those, we really suggest working with a practitioner, with the big ones like that. Because we're trained, we have so many different processes that Robert taught us on how to gently go back. And we don't have them go to a 10 if it's a big trauma.
Right.
We know how to go around the edges of it and then tap it down and then go a little bit further and tap it down. That's why we don't suggest doing that on your own in the beginning. Now, with that said, we empower people. And later on, if I have time, I want to teach people how to tap on themselves. We empower people to take control of their lives, and they can tap on themselves. They can change their own memories if they learn how to do it, and also they can go to a level 1 training with Robert online or live and learn how to do that. But like you said, don't go back there alone if it's a big trauma. We're trained on how to gently go in there. And we work with you, and we keep it light and we keep it fun because a lot of the defracts are humor. And so I like to have fun with the sessions. And so we don't rush anything. And if you don't want to go back, we won't go back to anywhere you don't want to go. But the idea of peeling that onion is that once you soften some of the edges, you can go a little further and then soften and tap a little bit more, go further.
Well, and my thing, it made sense. And my thing is, so if I'm meeting with a practitioner and this is going to be a little bit of a warning, a trigger warning, but if you have sexual assault and you're meeting with a practitioner, do you have to describe to the practitioner in detail what you went through with sexual assault? Because some people cannot do that. Yeah, and they're nervous to tell the practitioner that. Great.
I love your question. And I didn't mention it earlier, is that if you're my client, you had something, you don't want to tell anybody what happened, we can work on that too. Wow. So we have you go experience it. You don't even have to tell me. But we'll ask you certain questions. What are you experiencing right now without giving me detail? Where do you feel it in your body? What emotions are you experiencing? What are you seeing? Notice what you're seeing. And tap. So we know how to have your mind go there without you telling us.
Wow. Well, and I thought it was interesting and obviously it was in 2018, one of your podcasts, you were working with a client and she didn't want to divulge names. So you just said, create a name, make a name, right? So you gave her the power. I felt like there was an empowerment on her side. She was in control. Okay. Yeah. And I thought that was really wonderful because a lot of times, a lot of us go for EMDR therapy, myself included, and my therapist, and she can't read my mind. So I have to tell her the details. So me going to the appointment, I would be all worked up with insane panic attacks, thinking I had to talk about stuff. No good. So once I started taking a deep dive into this work and knowing that I didn't have to say anything, right? And I could use Mickey Mouse as a name. It made me feel more in control. So I thought that was really powerful. The other thing, I wanted to say is, I know a lot of practitioners do Zoom calls. All right. Now, this situation right here can be very, for me, when I first started doing Instagram lives, I'm like, my gosh, I'm putting my face out there. You know, people are going to judge my mannerisms and everything else. And so I would get intimidated to even set up like telehealth calls with my therapist. I'd be like, no, I don't want to see you on Zoom. Like, that's not going to work for me. Is there other options for patients if they don't, can they do a phone call? Is it still effective to do a phone call?
I do most of my sessions over the phone.
Okay.
And so we are taught to, it's called physical acuities. We are taught how to look at someone's expression, and we know that, you know, by their expressions and where they look, and if their eyes go left or right, or if they're really, you know, we can study their physical cues, and then know if they're really feeling something strongly. But what I do with having a session over the phone is there's also auditory acuity, and being able to really listen to how they're saying things. And what I do is I just connect in with them. And this idea, what we're doing by doing it, like you're mentioning before, we're removing a layer of something that might be a block to getting to the problem. Like you're saying, you know, how am I being seen? I don't want to be seen. How am I looking? Is he looking at me? And that's that could be a distraction. So
absolutely. Yeah.
Right? So if I'm doing a session with you, you can be at home, doesn't matter how you're looking. Look, I'm not looking at you. You can be in your pajamas, and we're just freaking doing the work. We're in there doing the work. Doesn't matter. You don't have to sit right there. You can walk around. And I just find it so much more freeing, and we get great results. Okay,
That's
perfect.
wonderful.
So thank you for bringing that up too.
Yeah, no. I just, because I wanted to make sure that there are options, you know, out there for our followers to know that they're in control, right? I mean, essentially, we want them to have control over this. So I felt like, for me, after going to years of therapy and really moving tiny baby inchworm steps forward, even spending the shit ton of money I spent on EMDR therapy, which is not cheap, right? And I had to work myself up for every week. And sometimes I canceled EMDR sessions because I didn't want to go through that process like that. This just felt more empowering. I felt like I had more control to do the work. And I actually was kind of hitting a lot more things all at once in a session. So that to me I felt like I was getting more bang for my buck. Plus I was in control, and I didn't have all these extra added pressures to me to be able to do this work. So I just wanted to share that. But hey,
I'm
Mark,
happy you did.
I'm realizing what time it is. This is how fast these go. Our lives go way super fast. So we have about 18 minutes left. Okay. So I wanted to ask you, you know, kind of, how do you feel as far as like, do you feel like this can help everyone and anyone? Like, we have a lot of different types of viewers tuning in. So kind of just say, you know, let us know, can it help everybody, or does it just help anxiety people or chronic, you know, how can it help everyone?
I gotta give credit to Robert, because he has worked with anyone with any problem and taught us how to do that. So anything, weight loss, chronic fatigue, any kind of physical symptoms, any kind of chronic illness you might have, anxiety, social anxiety, weight loss, finances, money, success in business, success with your life, or improving your golf swing and sports, you know. Really,
my husband would love that. My husband would love that.
Right. Yeah.
Golfing's coming up. Yes. Yeah.
Well, look, if I'm about to hit a ball and I'm like, oh God, I remembered, like it's going to go left like it always does or whatnot. We go in there and we change what you're telling yourself, you know? Wow. And so this is great at changing limiting beliefs. Absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So we tap on limiting beliefs. We change that chatter in your mind, the negative self-chatter.
Fascinating. Yeah. Very cool. Okay. So now, Mark, real quick, before we open it up to Q&A, because I think we have about 15 minutes for Q&A. So how can people get in touch with you if they're ready to do the reprogramming work, or they want to reach out? How can they get in touch with you?
You know, I like Facebook, my group, Tap It Out Tap It Out group, and then we get on Messenger and Facebook, and or we can they can friend me on Facebook. I can give my number. They can email me. So yeah, or go to my website and my
all sorts of ways to get in touch with you, right? And if they want to learn more about the Utaptics, FasterEFT, do you recommend them getting on your podcast? And I mean, you have all sorts of information on there.
I do. And I give people, if they want to just, if they've never heard of it and they want to learn more, I give them resources. Robert has a free 5-day course, and it's really good. And it's him with videos, and you really learn it. And then I have my podcast, and he also has a great blog with lots of articles. Yeah.
Okay. Do you mind later on, you can share that information, then we can post all that for our followers.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the URL for the blog, but like, again, go to my website, go to my Facebook group, and then I will share the link with anybody who wants to learn. Yeah.
Perfect. I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
So all right, we're going to go ahead and open it up because we have, like I said, about 15 minutes worth of time for Q&A. And we like to give everybody enough time to ask their questions. So if you have a question, go ahead and post it. You got anything? Oh, is there a way to address inherited memories? Example of parents' abuse that manifest in the child as a physical symptom, chronic illness.
Absolutely. We deal with that as well. So it might be a family story that you've heard that either you don't remember or it hasn't happened to you. You haven't experienced it yourself, but you hear it. So let's say your mom's telling you the story and your family, and then your dad talks about it. And over the years, you hear the story. And when you hear it, it becomes your memory because you're seeing things, you visualize it, you create it inside of you, and it becomes yours. Everything that happens inside of you is you.
Yeah.
Now in your memory. So anything in that story, we have you go into that story and we tap on it and we defract just in a way if you would have experienced it yourself.
Wow. Very cool. I hope that answered your question, Leona. Okay. So,
I hope so.
Joni asked, the rewrite is the hard part for me. I can't ever get rid of that part. Do you want to speak on that?
So
there's another part to that. Go ahead.
So that means if the rewrite's hard for you, and I'm assuming you're tapping on yourself, that means you have some more tapping to do. Because when you get it down to a 0, and basically when we're doing, operating or tapping or defracking from 10, let's say 10 to 0, your mind is already flipping and shifting in your mind. So by the time we're at 0, lots of times what you're seeing and what you're experiencing is already shifting. If the rewrite's hard for you, that means there's more layers or there's more elements to tap down. So you have more tapping to do before you rewrite. You don't want to rewrite before you're ready. So I hope that answers your question.
Well, and she also asked, how do you ever get rid of the event? I mean, can you ever get rid of the event?
So you get rid of how you hold it. So when we say we're changing memories, we're not changing what happened, but we're changing how we hold it. We're making peace with everybody in your memory because everybody's really you. We're making peace with somebody who hurt you. You're making peace with yourself if you hurt somebody else. And so you don't get rid of the memory, but here's what we do. When you rewrite it, if there was an event that was traumatic or you didn't like and that bothered you, what we do is when we rewrite it, when we tap it down to a 0 and we have you rewrite it how you would have preferred it to happen in your imagination, oh, well, I would have liked this to happen. And then we have you practice that. The link is whenever you go to that memory, your mind automatically goes to the rewrite if you practiced and you did it right.
Okay.
So you're redirecting your mind and you say, oh, every time I try to think of it, my mind goes to the rewrite where I'm happy and everything is great. And we have people, when they rewrite it, we encourage you to make it great since you're making it up anyway.
Feel it. Feel the new emotions, right?
Feel it and see it and hear it, taste and smell it. Like these are all different kinds of memories.
Right.
Yeah.
So when they go back, it's somebody outside of us. I'm just throwing this question out there.
Yes.
If somebody outside of us ask about a memory, right? So if you actually want to, because memories happen, right? Memories happen in our life. And sometimes you have a memory with multiple people and they'll give their accounts of everything. So if you go back to that memory, and even though you rewrote it, right? Are you then, your response to their response to it changes? Is that what happens?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, you're not bothered by it anymore. So if you're bothered by their response, that might be another element to tap on, but
Okay.
it won't trigger you. If you did it right and
Yeah.
it won't and if it does, there might be another element, or it might be more work to clean up.
Okay, good. That's good to know. Do you guys have any more questions? Is there anybody else have any more questions for Mark?
Oh, here they go.
Yeah, you just scroll through them. I'll scroll up real quick and see if there's anything.
Okay.
Oh, Mark is an excellent practitioner. He's my first friend when I got exposed to FasterEFT, and I've worked with him many hours, and he's done an incredible job to help me shift my life. That was from Miranda Sullivan.
Oh, Miranda, I'm going to send you the money in the mail. Thank you so much.
There you go.
What did we agreed on $50 for that. I appreciate that. Thank you. 50. It's cheap.
Okay, hold on. I just did a session for my practitioner certification with Mark, and he is great. That's from Tiffany.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Miranda and Tiffany. Love you guys.
Yeah. Trying to see if there's anything else. I'll scroll up here.
Oh, I see Julie. I see some people I know.
Oh, good. You got your
What's
people
up,
on
guys? Peeps.
Does anybody have any other? Oh, this was incredibly informative. And no, I'm sorry. Let me back it up. When you have a physical problem, like a leg that feels as if it's attached, but death can change that as well by cleaning up. When you have a physical problem, like a leg that feels as if it's attached, but death, can we change that as well by cleaning it up? Okay, that's an interesting question. So
I don't know if I understand.
So are you trying to see if there's a physical connection to a moment in your life where you experience death? I don't know. I'm reading it that way, but maybe you get your interpretation on it. Yeah,
I'm not sure exactly. Wolf, is that Julie? Is that Julie from Facebook? Okay. If you have so here's how we deal. I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, but here's how we deal with physical stuff. If you have a physical pain in your arm, there is an emotional reason because of it.
Okay.
And even
She's
if
saying,
you
I'm sorry, real quick, Mark. She says, okay, the leg feels like it's numb and death.
Oh, okay. Dead. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So where are you feeling numb and dead in your life, type of thing? Or there's ways that we ask certain questions to get to the emotional source of it, the memory, because your body and your mind is a metaphoric machine. So your body metaphorically expresses what you have inside of you. So I don't know. For example, let's say I got my heart broken when I was little, and I had that heartache. And if I don't deal with it, that can my body can start to express that in different ways, in chronic illness, in pain, and there's different ways of how the body will express what you're feeling inside. And so we can either tap on the physical pain directly, and your subconscious knows what it's linked to, or we find the links, we find the source memories that are the cause. And we have what's called the art of change, a bunch of questions that we ask to get to what is this connection? What is the connection with the leg that feels numb? And we ask certain questions like, when did it first happen? When did you first start experiencing this? Right. Yeah. When did you first start experiencing this, and what was going on in your life when that happened? Right. And there's always a connection, you guys. I tapped on my wife's 45 years of allergies. Yeah. And there was an emotional reason why she quote unquote gave herself allergies. So we go to the emotional reasons, and the allergies can disappear. It's pretty interesting.
And he has that on his podcast, so tune in.
Yeah.
Tune into that. So yeah, it's very cool. Okay, metaphorically. Oh wait, hold on. I'll back it up. That metaphorically. That was incredibly informative and creates much hope for me. Thank you. Oh, you're
right
welcome.
On.
Mark's awesome. Okay, so if I feel peace about it and it doesn't bother me, do I move on to something else?
Yeah, feel peace. And then I would say also, Jacoda, is rewrite it. Feeling peace, sometimes you can tap it down to a 0 and you're like, oh, it doesn't bother me anymore. Well, rewrite it still and make it even better. So feel peaceful, feel great, feel excited. Rewrite what the opposite of what was bothering you before. Practice that. We want you guys and we want ourselves to attract awesome, wonderful things in our lives.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And that's going to be what I think you're going to be talking about, alignment, law of attraction for next week, right? Is that what you guys are going to be discussing? So we have about 5 minutes left, guys. So if you have a question, go ahead and ask Mark now. But I'm trying to see here. Is there any more? Oh, you're welcome. Wolf and L.
Wolf, are you Julie? I'm not. Oh, anyway. Okay, great. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah. And be patient, you guys. If you're tapping on yourself, be patient with the process. Sometimes you think, oh, I got so many things to tap on. And the way you are dealing with yourself is very important. Are you being patient? Are you being impatient with yourself? Are you, and if you're being impatient, you can tap on that too. Absolutely. If physical symptoms begin, I'll let you read that.
Oh, no. Okay. If physical symptoms begin after a horrible divorce, are the memories that need to be written from that trauma, or does it go back further in childhood? This is a very good question.
Very good question. It probably goes back to even other reasons, because the way our relationships, our parents are the best model of relationships, right? How a man treats a woman, how a woman treats a man. We watch our parents, then they treat us a certain way, and then we get married. Sometimes we marry our father, right, or we marry our mother, right?
Yes.
Right.
That happens.
And we try not to be too heavy, because we can tap directly on the divorce as well. And when that starts to happen, your mind and your subconscious will start to give us clues towards more of the other memories in your childhood that it relates to. It's pretty. There's a connection that's pretty amazing.
Absolutely.
The patterns in our life, right? The patterns in our life are based off mostly in our childhood, the things that happen. Not always, but mostly in our childhood. And then everything that happens, every other quote unquote problem that we have is a metaphoric expression of that initial imprint.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Very cool stuff. Okay, we have about one more here. One or two more questions. Can it take
several sessions to deal with one particular? Yeah, it can. Or it could be one session, but it can take several sessions. Yeah. And then again, we empower you to start to work on yourself and to do homework and do things for yourself.
Absolutely.
Hey, Ellis.
Do you guys have any more questions?
And we never got to teach them how to tap on themselves, but maybe I have a podcast on it.
Do you want to do that now?
And then, okay, real quick way to tap on yourself. Well, there's tapping in the heat of the moment. So I'm going to teach you how to tap on the heat of the moment. So you're bothered right now, or you're about to go to the supermarket, you feel anxious. Notice how you feel anxious. So number one, notice how it bothers you. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm just nervous. I feel it in my body. Okay, so then you notice it. Now, number two, rate it 0 to 10. How much is this? 6. Okay. Number 3, do a round of tapping. A round of tapping is between the eyebrows, and just say variations of let it go. Between your eyebrows, let it go, safe to let it go, I'm letting it all go. Or you can do it like this. Grab your wrist, deep breath, blow it out, say peace. Go to a happy memory somewhere where you feel good and peaceful. And then, okay. So that was a round right there. And then so happy memories 4. So 3, do a round of tapping. 4 is go to the happy memory. And then repeat 1 through 4 until it's a 0. Okay. So again, you go back, check into it, and you go, okay, going to the supermarket. Oh, I don't want to go. Oh yeah, now it's a 4. Now when it's a 4, when it's under a 5, when you're tapping, you don't have to say just tap, let it go. You can say soothing things to yourself, like, okay, I'm going to be okay. Things always work out for me. Okay. I'm getting better all the time. I'll be okay.
I'll be okay.
And deep breath, blow it out, say peace. Now, when you're tapping, feel your fingertips on your skin. You don't want to be in the trauma or the bother. So you go into the bother, and then tapping, you can look up and just tap. And don't think too much, because it's really subconscious. Really subconscious. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go.
Do you have to close your eyes when you do it? Does it matter? I mean, if you close your eyes doing this?
You'd actually...
Hey guys, sorry, we got kicked out. This is what happens when we start talking. Okay, hold on, Mark, I'm going to let you in. Hold on. This is what happens when we get to chatting. Hold on, Mark. Last one. Here we go. Sorry, Mark. This is what happens when we get to chatting. We get kicked out.
That's all right. I was just talking and talking.
Continue again. Yeah. I'm sorry, because it was good stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
you can close your eyes, or you open your eyes to come out of it, correct? Because you're going to go to the memory, right?
Yeah, you go into it, and then when you start tapping, It's better to open your eyes, look around, tap, put your head up. Like Robert always says, keep your head up, because when your head's down, you're into your emotions. Get up and let it go. Variations of let it go. Safe to let it go. I'm letting it all go.
Okay.
Don't think too much. We want to get the conscious mind out of there. So don't think too much about it. Just let it go. Safe to let it go.
You guys, try this right now. It actually does. It makes you feel calmer. So you're right. I would close my eyes when I do it. But if you do look up, it does. It makes you feel lifted and calmer.
Right. Now let me throw this in. This is great. Here's how to do it without tapping. Let's say you have a picture of somebody you love, or a picture of a beach, or a picture of somebody that makes you laugh, like Will Ferrell. So you go into the supermarket. Oh God, I don't want to, whatever. And then look at the picture.
Okay.
Just get out of it. Look at the picture, and then, oh my God, that scene from that movie is pretty funny. And then, all right, go back in. Okay, now it's a 7. Check it again. And look at the picture, or listen to a song on YouTube for 5 seconds, 10 seconds. I love this song. And then go back into it. Every time you do that, you're confusing that. You're scratching the record of whatever's bothering you. And you keep doing it, and be persistent. Be super persistent.
That was a really good thing that we just did right now, because I think people need that. So thank you for doing that. That was, and especially
thank you, Julie.
Looking up, and I was like, do you know that Will Ferrell is one of my favorite actors and comedians?
Is he really?
I'm obsessed with him.
Oh my God.
So that's so strange you said that. But so that's really, as soon as you said picture his face, and I was picturing a movie, and I'm like, done. Like that was a really powerful thing for me. So thank you. Yeah. These are good techniques to share. So thank you. Yeah,
you figure out what works for you. Like you said, that Will Ferrell, you see that scene in the movie, and that did it for you. Some people it's a song, some people, and figure that out. Become an expert on what works for you, and become an expert at tapping on yourself. Yeah, it's a learning curve. You don't sit down at the piano the first time and you're not doing like a masterpiece yet. You're doing your scales. Do 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 do.
Right, because for me in the beginning, I was like, this just doesn't. I'm not really feeling anything. I mean, I was just like, But then once you really kind of understand, feeling the feels, feeling the fingers on your forehead, and I'd feel it.
Yes.
Really taking in, letting it go, what that feels like to you, letting whatever is bothering you, let it go, have peace with it. So, I mean, I took some time to really, fine tune it and really grasp just that simple concept.
That's right. It's a learning curve. And some people say, I'm not doing it right. And so reach out to either Tiffany or Julie, or reach out to me on my group and ask us, because what I do is I want people to get good at tapping on themselves. And lots of times it doesn't, they say it's not working, and they're just not doing it right. And then, and then it's a learning curve. I didn't do it right in the beginning, and then you get better and better and better. So practice it, and then reach out and ask me or Julie or Tiffany how to do it.
Absolutely. And I know with my kids, I taught them to tap, and sometimes, honestly, they're like, I don't want to do it. But if there's something really bothering them, I'm like, get over here, lay down next to me. We're going to tap together. And honestly, you can feel the change of their energy. Like, it's just, as soon as they're not half-assing it, they really do shift. So it's a powerful technique.
It's so powerful.
Yeah. Well, thank you for explaining that. And I don't want to keep you much longer, but I really appreciate you getting on here. And I think a lot of people had some clarification today. I'm hoping. That's what I was hoping with the slide, is that people now understand what is tapping, what's beyond the tap, what can you expect working with a practitioner like Mark. And then also, Mark, I mean, he's available. You've gotten to know him. You can reach out to him. If you're ready for the reprogramming work, contact Mark, get with him, maybe spend some time on his podcast, learning about his techniques. It's good stuff, you guys. So I don't know if you want to plug yourself real quick, but how they can reach out to you and where to go. So again, the Tap It Out podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast, search for Tap It Out podcast. It's definitely on Podbean and Apple. And then my Facebook group, come join me on Tap It Out. So search Facebook, Tap It Out in groups or on Facebook, and you should find the Tap It Out. Okay.
And I have a website, Mark Shihadeh, M-A-R-K, Shihadeh is S as in Sam, H-I-H-A-D as in David, E-H, markwshihadeh.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Julie.
Now, real quick, you guys, the previous live, we are already recording it, so that way we can download it on our other platforms. So it'll be available forever on YouTube, on our Facebook group and our Facebook page. We're probably going to give a video version for Mark if he wants to share it. But for IG, it'll play for about 24 hours. So you'll get access to it for 24 hours here, and then it'll be transferred to our other platforms, okay? Social media platforms. So the YouTube Flip and Shift channel, we have Facebook Flip and Shift, we have Facebook page, Facebook group, and then I think that's it. Oh, we're now on Twitter and LinkedIn. So connect with us, guys. We cannot wait to hear from you guys. So, and then look forward to next week. It'll be the same bat time, same bat channel. So next Thursday, the 16th at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is 10 a.m. Pacific time, correct? For you?
Yes, Pacific, 10 a.m., yes.
And then 1 Eastern. All right, so 12 p.m. Central Standard Time next Thursday. Mark will be on with Tiffany, and you guys are going to be talking about law of attraction, alignment, all good stuff, you guys. So thanks so much for tuning in.
And I just want to thank you. I want to thank you, Julie and Tiffany. You guys, they are just so sincere in how they want to help people, and you guys are just great. And so, yeah, I mean, I suggest go. So how do they? Yeah, so go and join up with them. You guys have that Facebook group and Instagram and YouTube, and so I really appreciate you guys, your authenticity and your passion for doing this work. So
yeah, thank you so much. You
Yeah.
have a good day, Mark. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.
You too. See ya.
Bye. See.